There have been a lot of criticisms of the ACA, honestly, come across the aisle. Are there any that you feel are justified, or any that you feel are significantly blown out of proportion?
Have you shopped for a health plan using the exchanges? I mean,
I have.
It's crazy. I mean, I think this is one of those things where, and I mean, not to be partisan, but I feel like Democrats just consistently drop the ball on this. If you're going to give people nice things, give them nice things. And I feel like you could have sold this a lot better if you just made it a little bit easier. And I feel like it comes off as being really cumbersome and really complex and very difficult. Even as a sophisticated healthcare consumer, I just kind of give up on it and I'm like, I'll be fine. And so I think that you could have maybe presented, particularly a user interface with this that was a lot easier and thus felt less intimidating, and people were just, I mean, I think that's why people like Medicare so much to some extent. It's just, Medicare's there, you know, there, maybe you get that plus your Part D, but it's kind of there. And it seems like it feels like a mess, even though it's providing useful service. So that would be the criticism that I feel like is very justified.
It was a pain in the butt, I can tell you what.
There's a really interesting anecdote from some of his staff, from some of Obama's staff in 2008, around then, about how the date of the Affordable Care Act website went up and then immediately crashed and was broken for however long it was broken. Whoa! It was the angriest that any of them had ever seen him in the White House, and they were a little scared of him apparently at that moment.
You listen to Pod Save America.
I did.
Well, I'll say that I think, talking about the individual mandate, I really think that was one of the most overblown things. And obviously it was used as a political tool, but we all have to buy, car insurance. And so are you saying that your health, matters less to you than getting a dream in your car? You were saying that it is required to make health insurance pools work. You have to have the healthy people with the sick people in those pools. And so, it was, people took lawsuit after lawsuit against that piece of it, and time after time it was upheld by the court because, it showed that this is required to make this work. So let's all just get over it.
It feels like one of the most unserious aspects of certain political statesmen. I mean, people come up with their kind of objectivist fantasies of, so long as you're rich, you don't need to worry about healthcare. I mean, that's theoretically why we have a civil society. It's so we all contribute, so kind of everyone benefits. And it sometimes feels like people have forgotten that's why they're in Washington to represent people rather than just sort of a free-for-all state of nature, fight and kill what healthcare you can.
I think related to that, I think the idea of the 10 essential services that have to be in every plan, well, they have to be. If you're going to comparison shop, you have to have some way to do that. And so you can argue, should this service have been in and should that service have been in, but you can't tailor the services you buy a la carte and have an open exchange. You have to be able to compare for both insurance reasons and then for comparative shopping reasons. You have to be able to compare one to the other.
Like a constant.
Yeah. So I think a lot was made of that, and the fact that a 65-year-old doesn't want maternity services, but a 20-year-old doesn't want Alzheimer's care. So you have to have a balanced portfolio, I think, and I think that's a reasonable way to do it. If you look at group insurance, okay, so for those of us who work in big organizations, they have all those services in there because it's a rational way to offer services to a large population.
Great. I love it when you guys give constructive feedback on the ACA. It makes me happy.